Greetings and welcome to Causeless Joy Tarot. I am Glory, the Golden Light Goddess, and I'm here today to do a general reading for the sign of Capricorn for the month of May 2018. Today I'll be using two decks. The first, which is the main cards, will be the Morgan Greer Tarot deck, and then I'll be pulling a guidance card from Karen Sangster's Chakra Insight Oracle deck. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started then, Capricorn. We're starting with your overall energy card for the month of May 2018. This card was drawn in early January for the remainder of the year. This overall energy card for you, Capricorn, is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is all about being conventional. This card is also known as the Faith card. So it could signify that you're really strong in your faith coming into the month of May. But it's about conventional thinking or a conventional way of being, perhaps marriage or commitment. It could also signify sharing your knowledge. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the rest of your cards for the month of May to see how they line up with this overall Hierophant card. All right. Calling on my guides, angels, teachers, helpers, all that loves and surrounds the sign of Capricorn. Asking for wisdom, clarity, and vision as we look at the energies coming in for the sign, that was the Temperance card, coming in for the sign of Capricorn in the month of May 2018. Giving thanks in advance for perfect clarity, vision, and wisdom as we look at the energies for the sign of Capricorn for May 2018. Asking for 5 cards that clearly highlight the energy for the sign of Capricorn for the month of May 2018. All right, Capricorn. Also, if you know your rising or your moon sign, I encourage you to take a look at those readings as well for additional clarity. And that feels pretty good for the sign of Capricorn. Let's go ahead and cut the cards. All right, and if you noticed, you did have 2 cards that jumped out during the shuffle. They were the Temperance card as well as the 3 of Swords, which indicates heartbreak as well as patience. So let's see how the cards that do end up coming out for you, how they line up here. All right, so we're looking at 5 cards for this month's reading. These cards represent your internal power, your abundance, your romance, your challenge card, and then we have your final outcome card. So let's go ahead and get started here with your internal power. Now, as an internal power, you do have the 4 of coins coming out in the upright position here. And this 4 of coins is really about being focused, really. This guy has his coins very close to him, and he has one on top of his head, which means he's thinking of his money. He's holding very closely to his money here. When we see this 4 of Pentacles, it's really a desire for long-term security You know, you are, and this is an internal power for you, Capricorn. So it looks like in the month of May, your focus on your being focused on your money, being focused on your business, or how your income is flowing into you will represent an internal power for you. It's very powerful for you to perhaps work on what's coming up is budgeting. If you're the type who likes to keep all of their records in order, their spending in order, you probably don't need anyone to tell you that budgeting would be a good idea if you're that type of person. This message is more for those who are not so inclined to do that type of thing. This would be a good month for you to really focus on budgeting, focus on getting a plan in place for you financially. It could be working on your 401k, I don't know, investments, retirement funds, but this is representing an internal power for you in the month of May. So that tells me that it will do you a lot of good to really look at your finances and keep them close to your awareness, keep them close to you. And, you know, of course, again, this will set you up and begin to line you up for the expansion that you are, you know, and all of us are seeking. All right, in the very next one, we have your abundance card. Now, here we do have the Eight of Wands coming up in the reverse in your abundance area here. Now, when we see the Eight of Wands in the upright, it's really about fast moving, you know, things happening, actions happening really fast. When we see the Eight of Wands coming up in the reverse, it's really feeling perhaps frustrated or having setbacks or delays, really is what I want to say there. So there could be some delays when it comes to abundance. Of course, abundance can mean many things. Money, friends, family. You could be dealing with some sort of delay there with your in the abundance area, or you know, feeling frustrated in this area. I'm drawing back now to your overall energy card of the Hierophant. You have a very traditional way of doing things, and there's nothing at all wrong with this traditional mindset. You know, this may be helpful for you when it comes to dealing with these delays. Again, I mentioned as well that this card also represents faith, your faith, or religion, spirituality. This may be a helpful card to have as your overriding energy if you do experience these delays in your abundance area. We have two eights coming in a row here. Your next card is the Eight of Cups coming up in the reverse, and this is coming up in your romance area. The Eight of Cups in the upright is about looking to move on, moving away from something or someone. When we see this Eight of Cups coming up in the upright, it's about somebody returning, somebody coming back. So because this is coming up in your romance sector, this could indicate that someone from your past is returning. Someone, you know, maybe you were recently separated from someone. That person will be resurfacing in your life in some way, shape, or form. They may not be coming back to stay, but they're certainly making another appearance for whatever reason. You know, unfinished business, you know, perhaps trying to reignite what was. And there's no indication. I don't get a sense either way whether or not this is someone who's coming back and planning to reignite and restart what you did have. But here what I'm picking up is that someone that you were in more than a casual relationship with. This was more than a friend. It could have been a lover, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a partner, a wife, a husband. There was more than just friendship here. And this person is returning. And again, I don't get a sense as to whether or not they're staying, but they're definitely making their presence known again around you. So that's something to be aware of there in the month of May. Now, let's talk about your challenge for the month of May. You have the King of Wands or Rods here coming up as a challenge card. Now, this card would typically be seen as a strength, because the King of Wands is a master of taking action. He's an alpha male. He's bold. He's powerful, charming, and courageous. So when I see this as a challenge card, it doesn't mean that you need to be less of a bold leader or less of alpha male or female in your industry, or even that you need to tone down your charm and courage. It's all about not overdoing this, is what I'm picking up. This is a wonderful energy to have in your repertoire of energies, if you will. But it's what I'm picking up here is that there may be a need to simply be aware so that you're not being overbearing with this type of energy. It's beautiful to shine your light. It's beautiful to allow the world to experience who you are naturally. When we get around people who may not either recognize their own brilliance or may look at your brilliance and say, I'm feeling less than because you're so bright, type of thing. It's really important to be who you are, to shine your light, and to be the brilliant, beautiful, courageous leader that some of you are out there. But it's also important not to force that on anyone, right? To be that and not to effort or to overly extend yourself in this area is going to be something worth considering for the sign of Capricorn in the month of May. All right, so let's move on now to your final outcome card. We do have another reversal coming in here. You have the Six of Wands coming up in the reverse as your outcome card. Now, the Six of Wands upright is about victory. It's about winning. As you can see, the victory wreath is there on this guy's, on one of those wands there. When we see this Six of Wands coming up in the reverse, it's about retreating after failure or lacking confidence. And that's the one that's really jumping out for me, because I don't really pick up any real sense of loss or failure here with these particular cards, but there could be, and I think it's interesting to have this lack of confidence as your final outcome card, and then you have this King of Wands as a challenge card. It's almost as if the confidence is not the same as this. whatever this represents for you, and what, as I mentioned, what I was picking up here with this King of Wands is more of a bold leader, an alpha male, or a really powerful individual. So when I see this next to lacking confidence, that tells me that perhaps a lot of this overbearingness that I'm picking up in this card is because there's a lack of confidence. When we don't feel confident in who we are, and I don't say these things to be critical of anyone or demeaning of anyone out there who may hear this or watch this reading. This is about being aware, and learning from as much as we can in an effort to grow and become a greater version of who we are. The highest version of who we are is what I want to say. So this interesting combination of cards here really speaks to the fact that if you are truly lacking in confidence, there could be this efforting that's happening to, there's this fish, I think it's called the puffer fish. Yes, the puffer fish blows up, he swells himself up when he feels threatened, right? If other fish come into the water, the puffer fish just makes itself really big and scary looking so that the other fish will run away. And that's really what I'm picking up here. Thank you, Spirit. That example was exactly the way I was sensing this, that there's this efforting that's going on with some Capricorns, right? There really is a need to address this lack of security or feeling secure in who you are, because until this is addressed, there's this potential to really puff yourself up, in front of other people to make it appear that you're something that you're not. There's a lot of insecurity here. So that's a very interesting and a very specific message. If the shoe fits, wear it. And if it doesn't, leave it for someone who can fit it, right? So that's very interesting what I'm picking up here in terms of some Capricorns, how you're presenting in the world, and because, the thing is you have this, you have it. That's what's so tricky about this combination of cards. You have this power, this courage about yourself, but because there's an insecurity there about who you are, you're overdoing this one. You're overdoing it. So really, 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 for someone out there who's watching this is very, very important for you to really reassess this, to take another look at how you're showing up. And again, once you address the insecurities, this will level out. This will no longer be a challenge. We'll begin to see this card here as the first card, as your internal power. All right? Okay, so that does conclude the main portion of your reading. I do note as well that Three of Swords is the next card under your final outcome card, and that card did come out as well during the shuffle. So if you are dealing with some sort of heartbreak, that card does seem to want to make its presence known. All right? All right, so let's move on now to your final outcome card. And I am again using Karen Sangster's Chakra Insight Oracle deck. Asking for guidance, wisdom, and clarity. One additional guidance card for the sign of Capricorn for the month of May 2018. There we go. All right. So your final guidance card, Capricorn, for the month of May, wow, is self-expression. Finding, oh my goodness, the card that we were just looking at, these two combination of cards that really sparked an energy within me, and that I shared as much as I could. It's interesting that you're being guided to pay attention to how you're expressing yourself. Also, we have individuality, assertiveness. Was that not what we were just talking about when I was discussing this courage and power that you naturally have? There's once the insecurity about that power is gone, you'll be really in a much better position to be more expressive in a more positive and loving way. All right. So this is about vocalization, individuality, inner voice, and your assertiveness. Really tapping into what is most important to you, what lights your world up. Tapping into your internal power and allowing that to be expressed in the world in the highest, most loving way is a beautiful gift to the rest of the world, Capricorn. And I do wish you all the best in tapping into that power and expressing it with lots of love. All right, so that does conclude your reading for the month of May 2018. I do wish you a wonderful month, and I look forward to seeing you back here in the month of June. Namaste.